Most people walk through downtown Oklahoma City without thinking twice about what's below their feet. But underneath the office towers, coffee shops, and government buildings lies a whole other world, quiet, hidden, and full of stories. We're not just talking about old pipes or subway lines. We're talking about neon-lit pedestrian tunnels, sealed-off vaults from the oil boom, and forgotten basements that might have once hosted secret Prohibition-era parties. Some of these spaces are still in use, others are locked up or simply overlooked. But they all share one thing. They tell the story of how OKC grew, adapted, and hid a few things along the way. In this episode, we're heading below the surface to explore what's really hiding under Oklahoma City. From colorful tunnels you can walk through today to secret chambers most people will never see. Let's head underground. Beneath the hustle of downtown Oklahoma City, there's a mile-long maze of walkways connecting more than 20 blocks. Locals call it the Underground, but older residents might remember it by its original name, the Concourse. It started small back in the 1930s, when a simple tunnel connected the Skirvin Hotel to a nearby building. But it grew massively in the 1970s, thanks to a wave of urban renewal projects. Planners wanted to make the downtown core more walkable, especially during Oklahoma's sweltering summers and freezing winters. The result? A futuristic network of tunnels weaving beneath the city. In the mid-2000s, architect Rand Elliott gave the space a major facelift. Today, each section of the tunnel is lit in bright neon colors, red, blue, green, and more, giving it an almost sci-fi glow. The colors aren't just for looks. They help people navigate different parts of the system, like banking corridors or government buildings. But that's not the most interesting part. If you could peel back the floor of some downtown Oklahoma City buildings, you might find more than just concrete and wiring. You might find a forgotten vault, sealed, silent, and once packed with oil money. During the oil boom of the early 1900s, OKC was flush with cash. Banks and oil companies built their headquarters tall and fortified their basements even more. Massive steel vaults were installed beneath the city, holding everything from payroll to oil contracts, some worth fortunes. These were working vaults, not museum pieces, built to protect real assets during a time of fast deals and fast growth. Some buildings even had private tunnels, connecting offices or nearby banks. These weren't for show, they were for moving valuables safely, or slipping between high-stakes meetings without drawing attention. For example, if you slipped into the basement of the First National Center, the former First National Bank building, you wouldn't just find storage space, you'd step into history. This iconic 1931 Art Deco skyscraper once housed a massive bank vault beneath its floors, built to safeguard the enormous oil-era wealth flowing through the bank's doors. Today, that vault is far from a forgotten relic. It's the foundation for the Vault, a cocktail bar hidden beneath the hotel that now occupies the old banking hall. Today, many of these spaces are sealed off, hidden behind forgotten doors or buried under renovations. A few are still there, untouched since the mid-20th century. And while most people walk by without ever knowing what lies beneath, a handful of basement doors downtown still lead to these echoing chambers of OKC's oil-fueled past. Not all of Oklahoma City's underground is mapped out or polished with neon lights. Some of it lies under creaky floorboards, behind old stairwells, and beneath buildings that have stood for a century or more. Take the Criterion building on Broadway. Locals and historians have long whispered about the tunnels and basement corridors beneath it, spaces that may have once served as storage, staff quarters, or even quiet meeting spots during the Prohibition era. While direct evidence of hidden speakeasies is thin, what's certain is that these underground areas exist, and some were large enough for people to move unseen. Theaters, churches, and historic hotels downtown often had extensive basements, used for heating systems, storage, and staff access. Over time, those areas became layered with mystery. Some were blocked off or repurposed. Others, like parts of the basement under the Skirvin Hotel, are still accessible and full of character. Rumors of sealed doors, forgotten staircases, and odd floor plans continue to swirl. Just 100 miles northeast of Oklahoma City, Tulsa has its own network of underground passages and its own share of secrets. Unlike OKC's pedestrian tunnels or vaults, Tulsa's tunnels are tied more directly to the city's oil barons and the hush-hush culture of the 1920s. One of the most well-known stories centers around the Philcade and Phil Tower buildings, connected by a tunnel reportedly used by wealthy oilman Wade Phillips. The tunnel allowed him to move between his office and private apartment without having to cross the street, useful during bad weather or when discretion mattered. While the tunnel wasn't built for smuggling or bootlegging, as local myths sometimes suggest, its existence reflects the practical privacy the city's elite wanted. There are also several basement bars and former speakeasies scattered around downtown Tulsa, some of which embrace their hidden, underground roots to this day. What makes Tulsa's tunnels fascinating is how visible they are if you know where to look. Guided tours walk visitors through parts of the old passageways, showing how the city's oil wealth literally carved paths beneath its streets. Tulsa and OKC may have different underground cultures, but together, they hint at just how much of Oklahoma's past still lives below ground. If you're enjoying this journey underground, now's a great time to subscribe. We explore the hidden stories beneath America, geology, history, and the strange surprises most people never hear about. While Oklahoma City's tunnels are mostly man-made, not far from the metro, the land begins to shape itself, literally. Oklahoma sits atop vast stretches of limestone and gypsum-rich terrain, which means nature has its own network of underground spaces. One of the best-known natural wonders is Alabaster Caverns State Park, about 2.5 hours northwest of OKC. It's home to the largest publicly accessible gypsum cave in the world. The caverns were formed over millions of years as water slowly carved passages through soft rock. Inside, you'll find walls of pink, white, and even rare black alabaster, minerals that catch light and shimmer in strange, quiet beauty. Closer to the city, smaller limestone caves and karst formations exist, though many are on private land and not open to the public. These caves aren't just pretty, they also help manage groundwater flow and provide habitats for bats and other cave-dwelling species. In a state where oil and gas dominate most of the conversation about what's underground, these natural features offer a different kind of richness, one shaped not by drills, but by time and erosion. And they remind us that long before humans built tunnels and vaults, the Earth was already carving out its own underground story. Oklahoma City's underground isn't just a curiosity, it's a layered reflection of its history, growth, and resilience. From neon-lit pedestrian tunnels to sealed bank vaults and forgotten basements, each space tells a story about the city's past and how people adapted to the challenges of their time, whether it was booming oil wealth, harsh weather, or prohibition. Add to that the natural caves just beyond city limits, and it becomes clear. OKC's underground is both man-made and geological, both practical and mysterious. Most of these places aren't front and center in guidebooks. You have to look for them. But once you know what's hiding beneath your feet, it's hard not to see the city differently.